Hello nonlinear algebra students. Welcome to your first video for Learning Target 13, Solving Quadratics by Factoring. This is Ms. Trapp and I will be covering this learning target for you. Remember, you can take notes on plain paper or in a notebook. If possible, you are welcome to print this packet or use Zoto on your Chromebook. If I say to pause the video and try a question, make sure you do so you can check for your understanding. The solution to the notes will be in your Schoology folder. If you have a question, write it down so you can remember to message your teacher or ask during office hours. Okay, let's get started. Learning Target 13, Solving Quadratics by Factoring, is similar to what we learned about factoring during trimester 2, but adds an extra step and involves the zero product property. So let's write down that the solution of a quadratic equation is the value of x when you set the equation equal to 0. Okay, and if a times b is equal to 0, then either a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. So this part here, with that equals 0 at the very end of factoring where we have left off, so that's the new step. So the equals 0 is the new step. And basically all we do here is we want to get our solutions. So I'm going to split these two pieces up. So I'm going to say x plus 6 is equal to 0 and x minus 5 is equal to 0. From here, this is just the one-step equation for each one, so we can get the solutions. So I will subtract 6 on each side to get x by itself. So x here is equal to negative 6. Then I will add by 5 on each side, so x is equal to 5. Okay, pause the video if you need to complete writing any of this, and let's move on to number 1. So here we're actually going to include the other steps that we've learned before and solved by factoring. So what I like to do first is I like to make my parentheses just to kind of set everything up, and then I split up my x squared. All right, then we need to decide what factors multiply to be 2, but also add or subtract to be 3. So on the side here, I can write up my factors of 2. Well, that's just 1 and 2. So I know that if I put a positive 1 and positive 2 and we check this, plus 1, like a positive 1 plus 2 gives us 3. Awesome. Also, 1 times 2 gives us 2. So that all works out. And normally, in the past learning targets, this is where we stop. But now with our new step, I'm going to split both of these up. So x plus 1 is equal to 0, and x plus 2 is equal to 0. These are both just a one-step equation, so I'm going to subtract by 1 on each side. So x is equal to negative 1. And over here, I'm going to subtract by 2 on each side to get x by itself. So x is equal to negative 2. I have my solutions, and this problem is complete. Let's move on to number 2. All right, so same thing. What I normally like to do first is set up my parentheses. Now remember, this time we have it equal to 0, and I'm going to separate my x squared. All right, so now we need to decide, well, it multiplies to be negative 10, but adds or subtracts to be 3. So when we think about our factors of 10, let's look to the side here. We've got 1 and 10, and we have 2 and 5. All right, so you can probably see that we're going to be using 2 and 5 because we know that 5 minus 2 gives us a positive 3. So I'm going to put a minus 2 here and a plus 5. If you want to do a check, negative 2 plus 5 gives us 3. and negative 2 times 5 gives us a negative 10. So this all works. And now we're ready for our final step, where I split both sides up. So x minus 2 is equal to 0, and x plus 5 is equal to 0. I want to solve for x, so I'll get to get it by itself, so I'll add 2 to each side. So x is equal to 2. Here I'll subtract by 5 on each side, so x is equal to negative 5. And we're done. All right, so what you should go and do is try number 3 and try number 4 on your own. And you can check in Schoology for the solutions. I will tell you that x is equal to negative 1 and x is equal to 5 for number 3, and x is equal to 3 and 4 here. So you should get both of those answers when you're all done. And thanks for watching.